Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and today we're going to be continuing to work on getting our cow feed situation under control. We've put 50 of these Holsteins here into our first shed here, and we want to make sure we're going to be able to keep them fed. So there's a couple of things we're going to do for that. First off, let's take a quick look at where we're at. We put in, I believe we put in 44,000 something in here. Maybe it was 47. I can't remember now. We put a fair amount of hay into here to get things started. And I was worried because there's so little feed capacity in this barn that that meant we weren't going to be able to keep our cows fed for very long. However, we're going to do a quick test on that thanks to several comments in the last video and see how much feed we actually use hour to hour. So we're at 43,633 liters right now. And if I just bump the time up here, we're going to be able to watch that in the lower right hand corner as we move past noon. We went down to only 42,903. So we used less than 1,000 liters of feed to make that happen, which is awesome. And as a result, I think we're going to be able to keep these cows fed. We're seeing our productivity go up, which is allowing us to generate both milk and slurry. So I think really I'm not too worried about the liters here on the feed. We are going to be able to make some total mixed ration here soon. So we've probably put way more hay into this barn than we really needed to keep the cows going while we go out and work on things. So we're going to kind of just ignore that for the time being and get on with the farm. The one thing that I do want to do, because I'm noticing that the health on my cows is not going up even though the productivity is. I can't remember if health only goes up on a daily basis instead of an hourly basis, but that might also be tied to the fact that we don't have any straw in the pen. I can't remember what some of these things do, and we're going to be a little ways out from getting straw. So we're going to come in here, and I'm actually going to buy a straw bale here just to get that going. Maybe we'll buy 2, and we're just going to toss these in here and give us a little bit of straw to help get things started. And that way we know for a fact that we're doing everything in our power to keep the cows going. I'm going to run this all the way back. I think this second zone is where the straw needs to go into. Perfect. And for ease of use, we are using a little bit of super strength for a few jobs here today. We've done a ton of bale work in the last episode, and I'm a little bit leery to get out the front loader right now. Jumping back in here, so yeah, we've got a good amount of straw in there now. We'll see how that operates as we move forward. I'd love to see the health on these cows start to come up. And the last thing that we need to do today here in August, the month of August, is we got one more field that we need to go cut with grass. So the quickest way to get over here to our other field is to just zip around on the road out here. And I don't know, it's not so much a field, I guess, as just a little bit of a pasture area around the house. Normal people might call it our yard, but you know what? We can't afford to really have just a yard. We need every bit of grass that we can get our hands on. We've got a lot of cows to feed, and I'm gonna just knock this out real quick with the swather here, get this hay cut, and we'll likely come back and pick this up in a little bit. I don't think we need to do it today, but I want to get it cut so that the grass can start growing again. And this field is going to be, I think, a lot like the other field where it's a bit bigger than it seems. So we're going to go ahead and knock this out real quick. I'm not going to time-lapse it this time, I don't think. We did a lot of grass work in the previous episode. What I really want to get to is chopping corn here today. So let me knock this out real quick, and we'll jump back in a second. All right, we have knocked out just about all of this grass field, much like the other one. This is a bigger field than I gave it credit for, so we are going to have quite a bit of hay here. That's all right. We need as much as we can get. We did bust out the GPS a little bit to help us with the longer up-down row parts of this field. But that leaves us with just a few of these little Whoa. Little bits like this to clean up. I didn't get overly zealous and get into all the nooks and crannies on this field because we just have a hard time getting back in there with a windrower and a baler, and so we took it pretty easy going around this field. And there are a few spots that are a little hilly. There's some dips and stuff where occasionally the mower can't quite get a good clean cut, so we're gonna just work around some of those. That's all right. That's how fields are. And I'm excited because while this was a bigger field than I thought, it didn't take that long for us to bust out here. And now we've got a ton of hay. I also didn't get right up next to the house. I thought that might be a little bit ridiculous. So let's go ahead and run this back up here to the yard, I guess. I'm trying to think about where the best place to store this windrower is going to be. I was thinking maybe in the same place we've got the rest of the haying equipment. That whole shed down there may just be the best spot in the yard to keep all of this at. And I'm coming to realize I've done so little grass work over the last several series that we've worked on that I don't actually know if the grass is going to deteriorate over time or not with the base game seasons here. I've got to reorganize some things here to get room to put this in. I think we're going to pull the tractor and the baler out, and the reason why that's important is because I kind of want to move time forward. We've done so much grass work. Yes, I should probably finish doing the work on that field, but what I'd really like to do is move time forward into the next month and get started on our silage harvest. But I guess I just don't know if that makes a lot of sense. We really should probably just finish up this grass work while we're here in the month of August, get all of that taken care of. We're gonna need to do it at some point anyway, and you know, we just we can't put off our chores forever here. So I'm going to try to figure out the best place to put this. I'm gonna put it on the other side over here alongside that hay trailer, see if I can get it shuffled all the way into the back. And this is one of those situations where I don't use certain mods very often, but a mod like FollowMe could come in really handy on a map like this so that we could run our rake and our baler at the same time. I'm not sure exactly how well they would work, but that could cut down a little bit on how much effort we've got to do a few of these jobs. We may have to look into that next cycle. And also, like I said, though, I think we are going to be moving our haying operation into an actual field where we can get some clover, some alfalfa or something going on. I could do a field definition around these fields for course play if I really wanted to, I suppose, but we're just going to live with it here for today. So I'm going to get this rake all folded out, and somebody mentioned in the comments that I have the ability, I can make it shorter. It was already at the max width here. I was hoping I could get this thing to be a little bit wider, but it looks like we are in the widest position here. And so I'm going to go ahead and set this out, and we'll grab it. We can get comfortably 2 rows in a single pass here. And we're not the best at raking, though. We do kind of miss some bits here on the corners, especially when the corners are a little steeper. I've got to remember to turn just a little bit wider than I expect. There we go. All right, so before we go too far here, I am going to shut this down. We're going to go grab that baler, and I think we are going to actually try and set up the FollowMe mod and try that out here, since we are doing a windrower and a baler, and those need to follow in exactly the same paths here. We're going to try it and see how that works out for us. I haven't used this mod in a long while, but it seems like it would be the perfect fit for what we need to do here. And I think this baler goes pretty quick. We might have to slow down a little bit with the windrower. Let me just do a quick test of that. I'm kind of curious how fast we can bale, and I should still have automatic drop on. I've got automatic drop now, and I'm going to do Control X to reset the bale counter. That didn't work. Let me turn the baler off. Fold tractor is kind of overriding that for some reason. All right, well, I'm not too worried about it. We can't reset our bale counter. Unfortunate, but nothing I can do about it right now. Let's keep trucking here on the hay bales. And I'm just going to get this guy caught up to the other tractor, and then we are going to exit out and attempt to do a follow me. We're going to have to figure out how to have the baler stop and unload when we do that. I don't know if it's smart enough to stop when we need to unload, or if I'm going to have to be trying to manage all of that from up ahead. I guess that's the only downside to trying to do this. We'll see, we'll see. It's always fun to try out new things though, so we're gonna shut this down right here as well, and we'll be back in a minute with a new mod. All right, we are back, and we've got the Follow Me mod installed, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy going. We're gonna pull forward just a smidge here, make sure everything's running, and then with the other guy here, I'm going to attempt to get in here. Now, I gotta get our baler lowered, I think. I wanna make sure everything's good to go. And then I think it's rate control F. And distance is currently set to 25. I don't know, that looks about right. It's not trying to get closer. And I'm gonna just start following here, or start driving here, and we'll see if it follows. I don't see it trying to keep up with me. Oh, there it is. All right, all right. So I'm gonna keep going here a bit, and I'm not sure what's gonna happen with this bale. Oh, it is gonna stop and unload the bale, apparently. I like it. I'm gonna let it catch up. I wanna make sure this wasn't a fluke. It does seem to be doing a good job. We're gonna have to be gradual on our curves, I suspect. I don't know how fast the baler's going either compared to this tractor. But it looks like he's keeping up with me. Oh, I could dig this. I just want to see. He's going to be slower than me in the grand scheme of things because he's got to stop to unload bales. And I don't know how far ahead of that worker I can get, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. But I'll get a little bit further ahead here because it looks like he's baling faster than I'm windrowing, so he might be catching up with me here. We'll at least get around the corner here and hopefully see that he can keep going with me on that. I think the corners is going to be the big thing that we have a hard time with the baler staying on the line, so to speak. Just because I have a hard time keeping the windrower on that line. And I'm going to pause here. I'm going to see how well he does this corner, just out of curiosity. He's keeping up with me pretty good, though. Surprisingly well. The very, very sharp part on that corner is kind of my fault. I knew the sharp parts are going to be tougher. We might have to come back ourselves later on and handle that. And oh, we did a round on that side of the tree. That's gonna be a problem, so we'll swing wide here. I'll have to come back and clean up some bits and pieces anyway, I feel like, with the baler, but if I can just go ahead and knock this field out, it's gonna work out pretty good. I am gonna pause every so often though, and just make sure the baler isn't getting too far behind me. I'd hate to have it lose me and have to take over and do everything myself, so we'll just pause. It's all right. I am curious what the follow distance is, like how close behind me he's going to get before he stops here. That's pretty close. All right. So with that, we've got a plan figured out. Follow Me is apparently great at doing the baler run for you behind a manually controlled windrower. And that's exactly what we needed, especially for some of these smaller, crazy fields. This is going to let me tackle this job a bit quicker without having to monkey with the pains of courseplay for especially these oddly shaped fields. I just don't know that courseplay was going to work out very well for us on a field like this, and honestly, for wind rolling and baling, I'm not entirely sure it was going to be an amazing experience anyway. All right, we are coming up on our last round here, getting this hay all baled up. We did have one minor issue with the FollowMe driver, and really it wasn't an issue with the driver. I got in the way, and he got hung up on me, and that was the end of him following me on that course. And so I had to take over, clean up a little bit, and then get him set back up following behind me. And so, moral of the story, don't try to cut in front of the FollowMe driver. He is not going to stop and wait for you. But aside from that, I have to say, this has worked remarkably well. As somebody who hasn't done a whole lot of grass work, this is something that I'm going to definitely be using in the future. This has been an awesome setup, awesome mod for this kind of work, and especially as a solo player, it just helps you get through things so much quicker. And so I'm going to be definitely keeping this mod on the save and leveraging that for all of this grass work, at least when we're doing it manually up in these fields behind the house. Maybe when we get into a real field, we'll try out some course play and see how that handles it. But for the time being, I'm pretty happy with our choice. Now, we've missed a few bits and pieces down towards the end of this field, so I'm going to go back down here and see if we can pick them up. Make sure that we're not leaving too much hay on the field here. And we'll see if the FollowMe worker's able to keep following, even though we've made the distance between us quite significant at this point by lifting up the implement here and going at full speed. I think at some point it's going to complain that it can't figure out where I'm at. Oh, we clipped that bale. I hope it doesn't go into the water there. Oh, good deal, it stopped. I've got at least one bale in the creek up here, and so we're gonna have to figure that out at some point here. And I am going to fold this up and then just have follow me through this bit to see if we can pick this grass up, because there's no way to really windrow it. And then we'll go ahead and get this thing extended back out and go back for the bits that I missed on the headland here. I'm hoping we can get everything picked up here in one more pass if I come at it at a shallow enough angle. Although we do have quite a bit around this bale that's sitting here that we need to figure out how to scoop up. So this is the tricky part right here, is keeping my driving path straight enough that FollowMe's not going to miss a whole bunch and not catching that bale as we come by it. There we go. And boom, just like that, we should get everything now, I think. We'll come over here, we'll make sure FollowMe's gonna catch up here. Looks like he's doing a good job. And there we go. We have wrapped up all of the baling on this field. We've leveraged FollowMe fairly successfully here, I'd say. And so I'm looking forward to getting these bales picked up and brought back up to the farm here. We're going to have to upgrade how we're picking up the bales a little bit. Some people have suggested I get a rear 3-point bale spike to give me more ballast and pick up more bales at a time. So we might give that a try here as well at some point. But we don't need to pick up these bales just yet. I do want to move the time forward here into September. We have switched things over to be 4-day months, so that each day represents a week in game. And I do want to see if our corn is going to get to the point where we can chop it. So let's go ahead and just get this guy up in the yard here. I'm gonna go ahead and park him back in the shed. I've got my auto drive, or my FollowMe guy, still following me with the baler on. I probably should have jumped over there and turned the baler off, but he'll figure out how to get here, and hopefully I'll jump back over there and turn that baler off before it gets full of rocks. All right, we've got all the equipment put away. It is time to see what moving forward today is going to look like. Like I said, we'll go get those bales here at a later point. We've got plenty of them already in storage, And our cows are fed. We're at 39,000 liters of food. My hope is to get into making a silage here pretty quick and seeing how that's going to do for our feed. Now, I realize that realistically, if we were to chop a bunch of corn, we wouldn't see the silage from that for quite some time. However, we're going to blend our eyes a little bit with reality and shove it into this harvest store and let that generate silage for us over time. Mostly just because if this was real life, we'd have been running this farm for a while. We'd have some silage built up in the harvest store there. So I'm just going to check in on the cows. We're still doing good on feed as we move through the days here. So I'm feeling pretty confident about that. And this is going to be the first nightly tick that we get, but it's for a full month. So our leasing cost hit is going to be pretty high. We're going to see a lot of money come out of the account when we tick over to midnight, and then it'll be less money than that for each night moving forward as everything scales down for 1 week a month. But yeah, $22,000 of miscellaneous. I'm pretty sure that's our land leasing costs. And then we've got the 3,000 something for vehicle, and then the rest of that, not too shabby. But knowing that we've got those huge land leasing costs coming is a little bit concerning. I'm not sure we're going to be able to hang on to our grain for as long as I might like. However, we haven't taken out any loans from the bank yet. We've still got this money sitting there waiting to be used. So we can definitely survive into the next year. I'm not worried about that. I do just want to figure out how we go about getting to a point where we're profitable. And as you can see, we just made $342 selling our milk. I do have the automatic milk selling mod installed where every day it's going to sell that milk in the morning. And I'm just fast forwarding here until we get into the day here to the point where the fog lifts and we've got some nice sunny skies here. We are now into the first week of September. As you can see though, the health on our cows hasn't come up yet, which is a little concerning. That straw is holding on there. Our productivity is coming up, so we're going to be producing more milk as things continue to improve. But the health rate on these cows is a little bit concerning to me. I would have liked to see that start to come up since we've provided them with at least hay and straw, so we've got the necessities in there. And so until their health starts to come up, I'm not going to see reproduction. I'm not going to get additional cows. So that's something that is a little concerning right now. We'll have to figure out what's going on with that. However, the real question here is, where are we at from a growth perspective on our fields? We're in the dark green all around, which most importantly, that means that field 23 here is going to be ready for chopping. And I've just taken a look around the map to see which other cornfields are out there. We may end up maybe trying to grab another cornfield. We'll have to see how much we get off of this into the harvest stores and how we feel about that. So we want to be able to do that though before those fields go up to contract for harvesting, which means we are going to be doing a fair amount of chopping here. However, we're going to save the silage harvest for next episode. That's all for today. Kedrick out.